Hello, hello. Good evening, and welcome to class today. So we're just holding on for more people to join. Once it's 5 p.m., the class will start proper. So I want to encourage every team lead here to please reach out to their team members to ensure that we have all participants here present. Yeah, hello again, and good evening, and welcome to class, everyone. I welcome you to this class, the second week for this cohort. And we're going to be having very interesting session today and also very interesting conversation, rest assured. For a lot of people, it has always been challenging to understand what exactly does the legislative stand for. Yes, a lot of people do know that it's an arm of the government, but particularly for some reasons, many people have been, made to believe over time that no, the legislators are meant to be doing projects in your various community. While it is acknowledged that they do that in the Nigerian context, more than that, what do they do? What do they stand for? These and many more is what will be unraveled in this conversation today. My name is Tohib Bisiri, and I'll be the host for this weekend session alongside with my co-host. So, ladies and gentlemen, our session today is going to be around the legislature as it costs today, more about what we know it as an arm of government. So, and interestingly, we have the ED as the facilitator for today's course. So please permit me to recite his profile. Okay, so I will give about 3-4 minutes for more people to join. Once we have that, I would invite the ED, but let me take that time to read ED's profile. So when we hear ED, all of us already knows that we already know that we are talking about the executive director for the Electoral College Nigeria. So please pay attention as I recite a citation of our facilitator today. Kunle Lawal is a prominent Nigerian political figure and executive director of the Electoral College Nigeria, where he leads the charge for political literacy, civic engagement, and democratic accountability. Under his leadership, the Electoral College has grown into a nationally respected platform, educating thousands of Nigerians on governance, elections, and citizen responsibility while strengthening democracy from the grassroots up. A tireless advocate for informed decision democracy, Kunle works at the Electoral College includes designing over 27 comprehensive political education modules, pioneering candidate debates to cope off jurisdiction promises, and training over 14,000 citizens across Nigeria. His efforts are redefining how young Nigerians understand and participate in politics. Former National Publicity Secretary of Core Party, he championed intra-party democracy and innovative membership system as a senatorial candidate with the Alliance of New Nigeria between 2017 and 2019. Kule developed 49 draft bills showcasing a bold vision for legislative reform. He is also the author of the Candidate, a Reflective Guide for Aspiring Leaders, and formerly led Word Chat Nigeria, using technology to connect citizens with political. Kule Lawal's work continues to inspire a new generation of informed, active citizens, positioning him as one of the leading voices for democratic renewal in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen of this cohort, I present to you one of the Nigeria's finest human resource capital on governance, leadership, and political literacy, Mr. Kunle Lawal. I would hand over the mic by 5:05 officially to our facilitator today. But it's also important maybe for us to talk briefly about who is this man, of the citation that I've read. Rest assured that you are in for a beautiful and interesting evening today with the ED, because you are definitely going to like we usually say unlearn, learn, and relearn. So I want to encourage everyone to keep an open mind, to be really flexible in understanding what we'll be taught. And when it's time for interactions, let's keep it moderate, keeping emotions in check and doing the right thing as informed citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to assure you that this is going to add to the knowledge bank of everyone going forward.
Good day, Lisa. Is it me or I can't hear Tawhid again?
Yeah, I wasn't sure either. For him.
Okay. So let's just pick up from where we are presently. So thank you, everyone. It's great to have the 18th cohort in class. Today is the legislative. First and foremost, I would like to say well done on your assignments. I will mark them shortly after the class. I didn't want to dissuade you with scores of each party. I'd like to critically state that it is the duty of every party to ensure its members are in class. And when we have the ELCOM committee has completed its work, it means that the onus will be on the chairman and the chairperson and the vice chairperson of the party to ensure people are in class. Marks will be taken from this for the least attentive party, and marks will be given for the most attentive party. I want you to know this is our normal routine. So we're going to stop the 5 minutes very soon. Once you have your chairman, we're going to stop the 5 minutes of announcing class, giving you time to come into the Zoom. It should be clear to you by now that 5 o'clock Friday to Sunday, you are to be with us. Well, we have 167 people in class today. I would say that's performance is roughly about a little over 10% of your entire class. Well, anyway, and Lisa, please take notes. Didi, sorry, I'm always calling her Lisa. Didi, please, could you
I'm here.
take note? Is there? It's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary again.
All
So
right.
thank you, everyone. Welcome to the class. So today we have the legislative class starting at 5:07 p.m. So the legislative. Now, most of us talk about democracy a lot, the basis of democracy, but who can tell us just randomly, where democracy started in? Just randomly, chat box, where did democracy start? USA, Greece, Athens. Okay. I'm still waiting. Rome. Okay. America. Wow. Italy, US. This is really some interesting answers. Rome, Greek, Athens, US, Athens, Greece. Okay, the home of democracy is Greece. And I know a lot of us would have Googled it. Um, I know the example of democracy has always been the US. But the US is only a country for about 300 and something years. The US was once colonized by Great Britain. And what's funny is Great Britain, which not many people know, was once colonized by Rome. Long story. Rome colonized Great Britain, and Great Britain thought it was brilliant, and they ended up being the biggest colonizers in the world. But that's by the side. That's just additional knowledge I'm throwing around. So in ancient Greece, the way things were handled were always representative, meaning different families, the head of the family will meet in a square and they'll sit down and discuss potential uh, things affecting them. Like maybe if you're talking of ancient Greece, then maybe what they should sacrifice to the gods because the harvest wasn't good. An animal that has been eating a few human beings, wild animals, or whatever they discuss, let's not go into that. But that was the foundation for democracy. And of course, they had a speaker, they put somebody as their leader, just speaker. So the foundation of democracy is based on the legislative. I'll tell you, in any country that is successful, if legislative works, even if the president is, I don't want to use any plain word, but even if the president is Donald Trump, the institutions of democracy will function properly because the bedrock and the most powerful arm of government is the legislative. And most people will think it's the president, but no, power is massively vested in the legislative. That is why we call it representation. Though in Nigeria, the word representation kind of sounds kind of ostentatious when you look at it in the big picture, because they don't even come back home. And I think Nigeria is one of the only countries where all the legislators kind of live in Abuja. We even provided houses for them in Abuja. Wow. So how do they go back and have town halls with their people and know the exact conversations they should be dropping in the National Assembly so we could have a conversation? So the basis of democracy is the legislative. Now, in selling that democracy, a lot of countries were monarchical. And they didn't understand everybody having a part of it. And I think because of that monarchical issue is what gave birth to the office of the president or the prime minister, depending on what kind of democracy we're talking about, whether it's parliamentary democracy or it's a presidential system of. But today we're interested in the legislative, and legislative kind of like does the same work, whether in a parliamentary or in a presidential system of government. The only difference is that in a parliamentary system of government, the prime minister is a member of the legislative, so he speaks from, and he has to address the House. I'm sure you've seen the House in the UK on TV and the conversations that go on and how interesting it is. So legislative, of course, is the bedrock of a democracy. Now, the National Assembly is Nigeria's legislative arm of government. Now, the National Assembly is made up of two houses. Federal House of Representatives, otherwise known as the Green Chambers, and the Senate, which is the upper house, known as, of course, the Red Chambers also. The number of representatives in the Federal House of Representatives are 360. The number of people in the Senate are 109. So one can rightfully say that the sovereignty of the people resides in the legislature. But have we bothered to even understand why this sovereignty lies in the legislature? Because they have the powers to make laws. They have the powers of oversight. And let's not only look at it from a federal perspective. Let's come down to the state. The state's legislature also has these powers. State legislature is vested with oversight on the executive and the ability to make state laws as long as they do not contradict the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This conversation is not whether they are doing exactly that or not. That's another conversation. But what exactly they're supposed to do is that. If you break it down now and come back to the local government, you have basic legislature and local government in councillors who has a speaker also. And the conversation is there to make laws, as long as it does not contradict the federal constitution. State laws, they're allowed to make laws. Now, is this done or not? Another conversation. So there are basic things most people don't know about the National Assembly, which I've stated: the Senate and the House of Representatives, which are 109 elected members in the Senate, 360 members in the House. However, the National Assembly is much more than this presentation tries to explain in the many facets and functions of the great institution. So whatever I'm going to talk about right now, although it looks structured to National Assembly, is also in line with the State House of Assembly and with the local governments at the end. So we move on to the next slide. The National Assembly. Now, the National Assembly is established under Section 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It is vested with powers to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the Federation with respect to matters in the exclusive legislative list. Now, in this exclusive legislative list, you're going to find arms, aviation, currency, drugs and poisons, mines and minerals, passports and visas, posts, telegraphs and telephones, prisons, railways, ammunitions and explosive, bankruptcy, banks, citizenship, copyright, patent and trademarks, creation of states. You know that they're presently on that, right? So to try and do something with creation of states, but that's another conversation. Customs and excise duties, defense and military. Whoa, defense and military. How great. So when something happens in Benue State or in Plateau State, we seemingly only point to the president. Wow. Defense and military. And your House of Rep and Co come out like, or your senators come out like they have no business. Anyway, Moving on, immigration, insurance, labor. Ouch. Why is labor always disturbing the executive arm? Yes, they're the ones that can increase salary, but the Senate or the National Assembly can actually do something about it. Anyway, we'll move on. Trade or business names, powers of the National Assembly, and the privileges and immunities of its members. Whoa, Natasha's case comes into mind, meaning I know there's one part of the Constitution that clearly states that the National Assembly is vested with the powers to make its own budget and also punish its own members. Hence, 6 months suspension given to Natasha and has been given to other senators back to back. I remember, was it Otto Nzeribe, who was Senator Otto Nzeribe, who was suspended from about 2 years into his tenure till the end of his tenure. That's another conversation. And the privileges and immunities of its members. Regulation of political parties. Wow, that's interesting. And nobody seems to point hands at them right now. As of today, we have 109, if I'm right, requests at INEC to become political parties. If anybody remembers the ballot in 2019, that wouldn't be very interesting to have that many. So we look at the leadership of the Senate. You can also apply this to like I said, to the State House of Assembly and to councillors. So the President or the Speaker, these are the offices. You have the Deputy Senate President or the Deputy Speaker, the Majority Leader. Now, the Majority Leader is the party with the most seats in the House. He's like the leader of that. There's the Deputy Majority Leader, who, of course, assists him. There's the Chief Whip. There's the Deputy Chief Whip. The Chief Whip sounds like the Secretary as he maintains decorum and discipline in the House. It sounds like the Secretary of the National Assembly, as the Deputy Senate President, who of course carries out functions of helps carry out functions of the Senate President, deputizing. For instance, he or she chairs the Constitution Review Committee of the Senate. Now, there's the Minority Leader, who is elected by members of the minority party. And his or her role is to represent interests and discipline from them. Now, I'm sure everybody has always heard the word plenary, 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 always wondered. So we're going to discuss that now. So the National Assembly conducts most of its legislative business through daily sittings or plenary sessions and committee meetings. National Assembly plenary sessions are stipulated in Section 63 of the Constitution, which provides that the life of National Assembly is 4 years. Plenary session refers to the day, period, or time in which a legislature formally assembles for the purpose of law making. A session must consist of not less than 181 days within a legislative year, meaning within 4 years, the legislature must have sat down once and must have sat down 181 times in 4 years, at least. There was only one National Assembly that didn't meet this under Ahmed Lawan, Senator Ahmed Lawan. That's second time of Buhari. They didn't meet this. But like I say, the National Assembly makes laws. They seem to make laws and be gods to themselves, so nobody can challenge them. Sittings or meetings or hearing periods of legislative assembly within a session or legislative year. Now, there is no constitutional provision for daily sittings. Therefore, it's up to the House to decide how it works. So they meet like 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's one way, Monday, Tuesday, then Thursday, I think. Now, previous assembly I've observed Tuesdays, Thursdays are sitting days. Recess refers to longer breaks of the House at the end of session, and this is distinct from the usual adjournment that occurs after a plenary sitting. Now, powers. Legislators enjoy certain powers, privileges, and immunities. And legislative powers can be defined as constitutional powers bestowed on the legislative arm of government. And these powers should be expressed, implied, or assumed. Now, express powers, as stated by the Constitution, include the power over public funds. Wow. The power to alter the Constitution, the power to ratify treaties, and the power of oversight of the executive. Now, note that the Constitution empowers the legislature to create rules regarding its internal affairs. This is the basis of existence of the rule and standing orders that guide each chamber proceedings in the Senate and House of Representatives, respectively. Implied powers are ancillary to assist in carrying out powers stated in the Constitution. Now we're going to look at legislative communities. Now, in the exercise of their functions, National Assembly often works with smaller units known as committees, and I'm sure you've heard that a lot. So a committee is a unit within a legislative chamber that allows groups of legislators to review policies, propose bills, and report back to the chamber. Now, one central theme is that committees are created for the purpose of satisfying the need for specialization and division of labor in lawmaking. Towards this end, most committees in the National Assembly are created in line with the existing mandate of ministries, departments, and agencies in government. Now, I'm going to ask a random question just to make class a little bit interesting. Who can guess? You don't have to say the exact number, but you say over. How many ministries, departments, and agencies Nigeria has? Or who can tell us? Not guess, because guess would be wilding. And I would like to see what everybody has to put out. Over 45 ministries. No, I said ministries, departments, and agencies. Together. Ministries, departments, and agencies. So NAFDAC is like an agency, over 300, over 200, 100 plus, 900 plus, 256, 44, 400, over 500, over 2,000, over 232, over 500 MDAs. No, wow, 182, 90 and above, over 1,000, over 500, 170, 700, over 200, over 200. Thank you, everyone. Let's go back to class. There are actually over 1,500 ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria. Over 1,500. So just imagine a bulletproof Land Cruiser for every head of the ministry, department, or agency. Blows your mind, right? You now find out where money is actually going. We haven't spoken about traveling, DTA, ESTA codes. Whoa. Anyway, don't worry. The National Assembly never meets with all the ministries, departments, and agencies. They try it, they attempt it, but never works too much. So the functions of committees are spelled out in the Constitution, and in the rules of each house. So some general functions of committees include initiation and consideration of bills, oversight of the executive, constituency representation. We'll move over to types of committees. So there's a standing committee, which are permanent committees that aid the National Assembly in their day-to-day functions. Examples include the Committee on Rules and Business and Committee on Appropriations. There are special committees, which are permanent committees established by the rules of the House and Senate with clear terms of reference to perform specialized functions beyond that of standing committees. An example is the Committee on Selection, which selects and nominates members to various standing committees. There's also the Ad Hoc Committee, which are committees created as a matter of urgency to deal with a pressing or specific issue. An example is the Ad Hoc Committee on Review of the Constitution, which is going on presently. So there is also the joint committee, which are either a combination of two or more similar committees from the two chambers or from one chamber. The aim of a joint committee is to examine any subject that falls within their jurisdiction. There is also the committee of the whole. There's also the committee of the whole, and this happens when the entire membership of a chamber forms a committee that is chaired by its presiding officer to consider a bill or a matter of concern. There's also the conference committee, which is a committee consisting of members of the Senate and House who converge with the aim of harmonizing differences on a bill that has been passed by both houses. Note, committees are powered by secretariats, which are headed by clerks and other committee staff. To further support their work and the work of their committees, legislators often hire personal staff and legislative aides to assist them. Let's not talk about the number they hire. I don't think that's relevant to this conversation, but so the roles of a legislator, of course, making laws pertaining to issues affecting public interest, representing the opinions and interests of citizens and the nation as a whole, and overseeing government, ministries, departments, and agencies. Now, I'm sure we've all had the conversation on bill. Everybody always wonders, bill, what's it up? Okay, so here's the process of how a bill emerges. There are various stages a bill passes through to become law. Now, bills usually pass through the following stages in each house or chamber. First will be presentation and first reading. This is when it's presented by a member of House according to the Constitution, presented by a member of House to the House. Now, at this first reading, either gets a go ahead to move on or a stop. So second reading. Now the second reading is when it's being reread again and everybody has thought about it maybe, or we believe they've thought about it. Then you move on to committee stage, special committees. You'll go over it, ruminate over it, check, whether it's going against the Constitution, etc. Then third reading and passage. And once this has happened, once it's passed by the House, it's forwarded to the president for assent. Once the president assents, it has become law. So that is the process of how a bill occurs. You guys have this PowerPoint. It's on your group chat. So in case you want to go through it or have it, it's fine. The only thing you cannot do is write your name on it and say it's you that said it. We'll hold you for copyright, but it's yours. So constitution amendments. If 2/3 of each chamber pass the bill without amendments or differences, it is transmitted to the State House of Assembly for concurrence. However, if an amendment occurs at either of the chambers, the conference committee will be set up to harmonize differences on the bill before sending it to the states for concurrence. Note that if both houses are not able to harmonize positions, the bill will be returned to the respective chambers for fresh voting. At the state assembly level, a simple majority vote of approval of each clause by 2/3 of the states is required for each amendment to come into effect. That is, to get a constitutional amendment, it must pass in 2/3. That's 24 states out of Nigeria's 36 states. Now, following the concurrence from states, their report on the bill is forwarded to the National Assembly for adoption. Thereafter, the clerk of the National Assembly sends a clean copy of the bill to the president for his assent. So what are the challenges of passing bills in Nigeria? The National Assembly has often struggled with the passage of bills timelessly, with crucial bills failing to pass before the end of the life of one assembly. Some of the contributing factors to the large number of pending bills in the National Assembly, apart from the lack of political will to make legislation, include poor coordination and synergy between both chambers, and often leaves the bill passed in one chamber and not passed or concurred by the other chamber. Another thing that is key to these challenges, I would say, and which I've learned with my experience in working around the National Assembly or working with the National Assembly, is that it's only in Nigeria where we are making a bill, it has to be 97 pages. I don't understand. So much English to do what? I think Senator McCain is the most successful senator in America. I think apart from his defense bill, none was, and the defense bill was, I think, a page or 2 pages. A bill can just be a line, and I'll give you an example. Right, not too long ago, if you generated in Nigeria more than 1 megawatt of electricity, it will have to be passed back to the national grid. So it was making it hard for people to generate private electricity or to say our states say we're going to generate our own electricity. Nigeria, go and sit down. Sometime along the line, one thing was done. That number 1 was altered to 10 megawatts. And all of a sudden, states are now, you can see what's going on in Abia. Edo is also coming up with its own. Listen, I'm surprised Lagos, the so-called intellectual state, hasn't keyed into it. But just that alteration of 1 to 10 can allow states now generate their own electricity and use it within their states without passing it to the national grid for distribution. That's how simple a bill can be. Another simple bill, let me use one of the ones I ran with, was okay. I'll speak. Let me use the simple one. It's often believed that women, when coming back from maternity leave, usually have an issue coming back into work because their kids are now in a crèche or somewhere and they're far off. One of the things I thought would make sense would be to mandate that every public and private um, organization has a care room for kids. So they know that their children, their 3 months old children or 4 months old children, when they are returned, are just in a door, are just not far off. That's how simple a bill can be, how simple it should be. But Nigerians, no, no. They have to go long way, the long routes, writing 30 chapters of, look at the PIB bill. It's more confusing than it in short. To even read it, problem. To pass it, problem. Now that it has passed, it's as if they passed something that there's just a few things apart from derivation and a few other things that are in effect. Nobody's reading the rest of it. So let's look at oversight. Well, how does legislative help with why should they have oversight? Yeah, it's to help first to improve efficiency, the economy, and effectiveness of governmental operations. To detect and prevent poor administration, waste, abuse, arbitrariness, or illegal and unconstitutional conduct. To ensure executive compliance with the law, to protect citizens, to ensure executive policies reflect public interest, to gather information to be used in informing or educating the public, and to evaluate execution and performance of the national budget. Like I said, this is what they're supposed to do according to the Constitution. Please let's not start having arguments on whether they are doing it or not. Now, challenges of passing bills. Now, National Assembly has often struggled with the passage of bills timelessly, with some crucial bills failing to pass before the end of it. Now, some of the contributing factors to that, apart from lack of policy, okay, I've read that before. Narrow content of bills, poor drafting, policy duplicity. So normally they write so much, there's almost nothing in it. That's what it means by narrow content of bills. Poor drafting means they didn't concur with what was already present in the Constitution, and they just decided to write what they felt. Policy duplicity is also that there might be something that is already under, let's say, Ministry of Aviation or somewhere, and then they are trying to use it in Ministry of Science and Technology. So that's policy duplicity. Sometimes they even do that with offices. Like, I don't understand why we have NFIU, ICPC, EFCC. Why? Doing the same job, 3 of them. you have a VIO, you have FRSC, ABA now. Do you understand? To me, that's policy duplicity. Now, inadequate or delayed legislative scrutiny. Sometimes, get arguing a bill, arguing a bill, arguing a bill. And the life of the National Assembly has passed. New guys come in, they're trying to do their own thing. They forget the old bills. That's something that occurs kind of. So, representation. I know a lot of you say, the Senator, House of Rep, they represent us, they represent. You see the first one. Sponsoring bills on the floor of the House. That's the first job. First job. Now, we know that a lot of money is passed through constituency projects, even though I've told you they are not constitutional. It's not backed by anything in the Constitution. So setting up constituency offices to facilitate public access. Has anybody seen their House of Rep or Senator in their constituency or town hall office? Has anybody? You can write in the chat box. No, never. You guys are having. Just at home. Who's saying this? Oh, yes. Wait. When they mean they're in the constituency office, I did not say during election time. You have to scrap election time. You must scrap election time. Because if it's election, no, don't calm down. They are coming to look for vote. Excuse me. Sorry. So working from their hotel rooms, he comes back almost every weekend. Not election time. Okay, let's proceed. So regular physical visits to constituency, I believe this also meets that parameter. Meetings with interest groups in order to stay engaged with various issues of concern. Now, presenting petitions in the National Assembly on behalf of constituents to ensure their grievances are addressed. Who is speaking while I'm speaking? Who's that? That must be someone on the admin. So, taking public consultations and input on a bill. They do that. They move around, but they don't do it as regards their constitution. Right now, they are moving around, and I hope you guys attend town halls in different sub-regions. That's South, Southwest, Northeast, and cool. And soliciting the opinions of their constituents on certain legislative and policy issues. My answer to this will be God when. Creating awareness and disseminating relevant information to constituents. Still God when. Actively participating in the budget process and ensuring that there is room for constituents to also participate through monitoring of local projects. God when. Actively engaging the media and civil society groups. When squared. So that is what representation covers. Now, a recall. Now, note that I'm sure a lot of you have heard the word recall. It was attempted with Natasha Akpoti. It failed. It was attempted with Dino Milai. Wait, what was with Kogi and recall, Seth? But anyway, note that if constituents feel they are poorly represented or have lost confidence in the abilities of their legislature, they may recall them. Now, a recall is a procedure where voters can remove an elected member of an area council, state house of assembly, or national assembly from office. Section 69 and 110 of the Constitution empowers more than one half of registered voters in the affected constituency to sign a petition and present it to the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, stating their grievances. Following this, INEC will be required to conduct a referendum in the constituency within 90 days to decide legislators' fate. However, before this, INEC must adhere to the following administrative checks. Ensure that the petition for recall presented is signed and arranged according to polling units, wards, LGAs, and constituency. Cross-check the signatories that appear on the voters' register. Now, I need to explain this. One half of registered voters means this. It's not one half of total registered voters. If the election that brought in, let's say, Lisa, for instance, the election that brought in Lisa as DED was 2,000 votes. And you guys, all the associates, that the graduates of Electoral College, voted for her. And it's 2,000 votes that brought her in. That has nothing to do with it. The total number of people that voted in the Electoral College for that election were 5,000, but Lisa won with 2,000 votes. It means that if we are to recall Lisa as a senator, or as a House of Rep, or as a State House of Assembly, we are going to need, since there were a total of 5,000 votes entirely in that election, not registered voters, or people that voted in that election, 5,000. It means that to recall Lisa, we will need 2,501 because it's 50% plus one. Whatever you get above it, but at least 50% plus one. So 2,501 petitions will be needed to recall Lisa. And I hope you guys understand that. So INEC also has to notify the members sought to be recalled, stating the receipt of petition for his or her recall. Issue a public statement or announcement stating the date, time, and location of verification. Verify the signatories to the petition at the designated location. When more than half, 50% plus one, what I just explained, of the signatories are verified, the commission goes ahead to conduct a referendum. A referendum is a recall. It's a direct vote that determines a question for the purpose of removing an elected member of area council, state, or national assembly. If the number verified is less than one half, like in the case of Natasha and Dino Melai, less than one half of the registered voters in the constituency, the commission shall write the petitioners stating that the petition did not meet minimum requirements and is therefore dismissed. It is noteworthy that the recall process is inapplicable to the governor of a state or the president of Nigeria. They can only be impeached by 2/3 majority of the members of the House of Assembly or the National Assembly. Now, resolutions is also part. So resolutions are prayers of a motion agreed by a legislative house. There are three types of resolutions: simple, concurrent, and joint resolutions. Now, simple resolutions are usually used to express sentiments of the house or to compel a committee to carry out an investigation. Concurrent resolutions are resolutions passed by both houses but do not require the agreement of the president. Joint resolutions are generally passed by both houses to give effect to constitutional provisions. Now, to conclude this class, it's saying by me, not that I like myself, but I just find it very interesting. It is to the law alone men get justice and liberty. As we crucify the legislative in Nigeria without holding them accountable, we have kissed away our freedoms. Thank you, everyone. And I hope that was instructive. I will be taking questions after this. Thank you, everyone. I can see that a lot of hands are up.
All right, thank you very much, Edie. We're going to be taking questions now. We're going to take 5 from the chat box and 5 from the people that are raising their hands. So, Ambassador Sterling Chukwemeka, let's take your question.
I'm sorry, Edie, could you please make Jessica and Tohib co-host? I think they lost their host functions, co-host functions. Thank you. Ambassador Stanley, you've been asked to unmute.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, EG, for another incisive lecture, which sadly, again, one listens to these lectures and indeed one cries for Nigeria. But it is well. 3 quick questions, sir. 1, what can we do to, or let me start the first question. Do we need 2 houses, the Senate and the legislature, considering Nigeria as it is? Do we really need 2 houses in the National Assembly? Question 2, sir. What can we do to stop the National Assembly being a dumping house for former governors, especially the Senate? Increasingly, that is what we're seeing year in, year out, and the number is swelling, sadly. And lastly, sir, and I stand to be corrected, in the National Assembly, the Senate especially, where we have majority of them governors, majority of them are facing cases at the EFCC. And we know how Nigeria works. The bigger money you steal, the better for you, because you can do plea bargain and nothing will come out of it. What can we do, sir, to stop people who have cases? Forget all this grammar about they've not been convicted, because those are the lies we're telling ourselves. But these are people who have cases in court. How can we stop these people from getting into the National Assembly? Because listening to you now, I think, in fact, we can't underplay the power of the National Assembly if we want to move our nation forward. Thank you very much, sir.
Stanley, first, I'd like to answer your questions before you unmute. I'd like to answer your questions one by one, because it seems I get lost in your questions. So your first question is, do we really need the 2 houses? Now I'm going to, the 2 houses. I was in a meeting with one of the ambassadors of Europe. I was there with Lisa, and this was a conversation we're having. And that particular country had just voted to bicameral meeting, and and countries in Europe are taking the decisions why 2 houses. Just have 1 house. So let's just have 1 house. I'm of that. If actually had to have just 1 house, so let's say about 500 people representing the entire country and actually making laws, I'm behind that. Do you get? I'm fully behind that. Thirdly, you said as regards voting, these guys have issues with EFCC, state. Okay, I know what your second question is. State governors have cases with EFCC and whatever. You're right. Guilty till innocent till proven guilty is the way the law is. And if we stopped them because they have a case and they haven't proved, that would be judging them. That would be quite judgmental, I feel. So, and then the Constitution also grants freedom of association and rights, for any Nigerian to do this thing. So it's not like in other countries, insane countries, people with corruption charges or issues don't want to run for office. They won't try it because they know that the people won't vote for them. But Nigeria, here's the conversation. Citizens will sit down here and say they have charges. But when I probably or the Ayadi bags of loot, you're the same one that votes them now. So I don't understand that. To be morally up, not vote. That's simple. They're the ones voting. Show knows about. Show
Okay, I think ED is having a bit of network challenge, so let's just be patient. He'll return shortly.
Okay, I think the ED is back. So we're going to resume now. I don't know if he can speak. Okay, I think his network is still fluctuating, so we're going to have to wait for a couple of minutes. So thank you very much, everybody. Let's just keep waiting for ED to join.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
welcome.
Well, I'm sorry, Nigeria, three networks. I'm jumping through three networks. One is presently. So as I was saying, I think to conclude the question I was talking about governors. And I was saying that it's up to the people generally to ensure they don't come and get into office. I don't think Nigerians are too bothered about the legislature. We don't care who's there. We don't care who gets into office. We just concern ourselves, president, governors. We just vote anything. In the short, if we are voting, if we like this governor, we'll vote anything for the legislature. If we like this president, we'll vote anything for the legislature. And it's really sad, but it's who we are. I'll take the next question. Lisa, what's going on?
Charlie, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly speak now.
Okay, good evening, Edie. Good evening, class. Thank you so much for this insightful lecture. So, my question is actually on the passage of bills. So you have the first reading up to the third reading. Is there a time space between the first reading to the third reading till it is taken as a bill? For instance, when they were going to change the national anthem, I remember that it was done very swiftly and the new national anthem was adopted. But we don't get those kind of swift response when it comes to very crucial bills that need to be passed. Is there a time limit for passages of bills? That's one question. Secondly, on the issue of the River State.
Wait, Talia,
Yes.
please count so that I'll be able to answer these questions effectively. Most of the
Okay.
time, because I'm dealing with many things. Let me answer the first question, then you take the second
Okay.
question.
Okay.
So the example you used is a resolution by the National Assembly. That's the national anthem. It doesn't pass through Bill 1, Bill 2. Do we change the national anthem? Yes. To what? Done. The House votes it concurrence with what they call it, with House of Rep. It doesn't even need to go to State House of Assemblies. It's done immediately. It's a whole different, it's not a bill. It's a resolution. It's them taking action. And they don't need the president's assent for that. So that's the national anthem is a different conversation. When it comes to bills, there's no exact time frame, but I think not putting a time frame also makes us redundant with bills because there's no exact time frame for first reading and second reading. They just okay, first reading go. Before second reading, check the loophole. Some people have spoken about some things. They will dump the bill. They've gone. Who knows when that particular senator that proposed that bill or House of Rep member that proposed that bill or State House of Assembly is going to come back to the assembly. You know, they are never there 24/7.
Exactly.
It's only if
Exactly.
it's budgets that you see all of
Yes.
them. So
Yeah.
I think you might be onto something, Charlie, when you say there should be a time frame. I think you're onto something, and so it's a conversation I would like to have. Thank you very much for that. Your second question,
Okay.
Charlie.
My second question is about the incident that happened with the state of emergency in Rivers State, where it's been stated that for such laws or such actions to be taken, it needs to go through an open voting system. And that wasn't the case that happened, and yet it was declared. So what are what does the law state concerning open and closed voting system in that regard?
We need to understand the first thing. The National Assembly, the president abused the Constitution from the beginning. It's okay for him to declare state of emergency. What was not okay is him removing the state governor and the legislature. And that is a big problem. Now, as regards River State and the complexities of what exactly went on and with open voting. Open voting is the normal, way they vote. What I think Nigerians have not asked, so we have a clear voting system, an automated voting system, apart from A and A, because that A and A depends on how the Senate president wants to hear it. Sometimes the nays are, and if you watch the National Assembly, you find out sometimes the nays and A's are almost average, and you
The
give it
same,
to
yeah.
whichever side he wants. Yeah, he gives it to any side.
Jesus.
That's so archaic. And the truth is that in 2015, not 2015, I think it's 2015, the Saraki Senate, they installed automated responders for voting. So you know how which senator voted. It's all there. It's all installed in the National Assembly. But I think we as Nigerians have not agitated for that. So we've been doing the A and E's and whatever. And the Senate and the House of Rep needed quorum, which was not available also
Exactly.
in that what they call it instance. It was not available. It's because you need at least quorum is at least 2/3. You didn't have 240 people in attendance in the House of Rep, and you did not have 71 senators attending. You didn't have them,
Ex-
and it still passed. And I think these are the key things, and Charlie, this is the key things Nigerians don't ask questions about. And once we don't ask questions about or we don't agitate about, we're going to continue having problems in our democracy because these things matter.
So is there no a higher law that can govern decisions that were taken by the legislature? Because I'm sure that's where the judiciary is supposed to come into place. So when the legislature is not doing what is within their jurisdiction, what is the next solution? Because we just keep folding our arms and saying,
Yeah.
okay, the legislators are supposed to do this
Which
when it is
means
not done.
means one of you should take the legislature to court. One
Mm.
of you, which I mean Chalia, is one of us.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll leave so others can ask their questions.
You just laughed.
You
said one of us.
gingered me. You just gingered me now to go ahead to do my actions. But thank you so much. I want to give other people the opportunity to ask their questions.
Okay, thank you,
so much.
Chalia.
Yeah.
Okay then.
All right. Thank you so much, Edie. Ernest, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question now.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, so my question is, now that we know the National Assembly have the powers to impeach even the president, what are the steps or the processes involved in doing that? And for the legislator themselves, who
No.
or
Can you
what
come
is...
back again? Wait. You went up a bit. You said I missed your question. Please start again.
Okay, sir, I said now that the National Assembly, not right now, but they have the powers to even impeach the president. So what are the procedures to do that? And for the legislative members themselves, what are the ways in which their excesses can also be checked apart from the recourse system?
Man, you have to write your legislator, talk with them, get in touch with them. Apart from that, those are the only ways you can have conversations with them. Those are checks, normal conversations with them, and that's the way to check or to direct them to what you're doing. Now, as regards impeachment of a president, it's actually very simple. Senate just says, okay, today we decide to move on impeaching the president. Everybody should come to the House on Thursday. Everybody comes to the House and they're like, move to impeach the president. Yeah, do A or nay? The ayes have it. The ayes are allowed. House of Rep will do the same thing. If they all are present and two-thirds vote against the president being removed, president is gone. It's very simple. It's not a big thing. It's the same way they remove governors now. They impeach governors. State House of Assembly just sits down, quorum, okay, you know what, we're impeaching the governor, move to impeach the governor, is or no is, nay. Immediately they say, you are gone, out of the window. It's a very simple process.
Okay, so can we say they lack the boldness to do that, owing to the factors that most of them come to the House through rigged elections and manipulations to the highest order, and so they feel that it's a win-win situation for them. The president is not doing right, we are not also doing right, so nobody impeach and nobody.
And Ernest, I think you need to divorce yourself a little bit from this activist view of things. Not everybody in the Senate or in the House of Rep rig themselves into office. Not everybody that's president or vice president rig themselves into office. You need to understand that. And critically, what you need to understand is that those people are only in office because we allowed them. I always say this, that we should stop mortgaging our responsibility in all of this. Nigerians like to point, like now, Ernest, from your name, you voted, did you vote in 2023?
Yeah.
You voted for this governor, Abi?
Of course, my governor voted.
Do you think your governor is doing a good job?
Yeah, as a stand, he's doing a good job.
Just say yes or no question.
Yes, he's doing a good job.
Okay. That means you're satisfied with your vote. It's your vote, right? It's your vote. But a lot of people that have seen governors operate in other states will say your governor is, I wouldn't say doing a good job when I call, what's his name? Reverend Father Alia, right? I don't think he's doing a good job. Nobody thinks. But, opinions differ. So not everybody. Okay, now would you say your governor now rigged his way into the office?
No, I can't say that for him, but maybe
because you voted for him. Now, another person that entered House of Rep, you are saying or Senate, you are saying he rigged his way into office. You know one thing we need to stop doing as Nigerians, and this is honest. We're just talking. It's honest. When the vote pays us, the vote pays us, the person did not rig the election because it's who we support. And it's not you, Ernest. I'm not picking on you. It's general Nigerian behavior. When the person we don't want to be in office enters office, the person rigged the election. We need to really divorce ourselves from that mindset. That like you believe, 2023 election was rigged. Oh, but Labour Party won in Lagos State, and that was not rigged. Labour Party won in Abia, that was not rigged. Labour Party won in Plateau, that was not rigged. But where APC won is rigged. We can't continue to have, that's not a democracy. That's you wanting to be a dictator. What your opinions are must be what must be taken by everybody. There are people that actually want Labour Party, APC to win. There are people that supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. There are people that supported Peter Obi. There are people that supported Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. There are people that will even support you, Ernest Anduka, to decide to run for office. But it doesn't mean because we support you, that means that every other person rigged their way into office. So I'll give you an example. Why should they even impeach the president? If you impeach the president, do you know who becomes president temporarily to ensure an election coming through? It's not the vice president, because vice president is on the same ticket too. What's the law? It is actually when you impeach the president, the Senate president becomes the president. Now, look at Nigeria with Tinubu. Do you really want Akpabio to be president for 3 months before an election? Do you really, really want that?
no, not the Akpabio I know. I wouldn't want Akpabio.
But you want to impeach Tinubu and buy yourself into a downfall with Akpabio driving it. No, thank you. No, thank you. But I don't think, even if people dislike Tinubu, because they know that an impeachment process reveals number 3 man as president in charge till the elections, Akpabio, people will decide not to impeach Tinubu. We'll try and hustle in 2027. Because Akpabio will turn Nigeria to party house. So I don't think that's necessary. So thank you, Ernest.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Patrick, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question. Patrick, are you there? I've asked you to unmute.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ED. Good evening, the entire leadership of the Electoral College. Good evening, my colleagues. My name is Patrick Kaka. My question goes this way. I just want to find out how do we get out of this current situation we found ourselves in a situation where maybe the last National Assembly from 2019 to 2023 was described as a rubber stamp. Then a good number of the people who were in that National Assembly we described as a rubber stamp were returned again by us. Then today they are still in the National Assembly. And this same National Assembly...
that's not necessarily true. In 2023, I think 63 or 64% of National Assembly did not return. That's more than half.
Yes, but ordinarily, if we Nigerians have written them off as a rubber stamp, as people who are not doing it, the major assignment in the National Assembly is to serve as a check on the executive and not to be on the same bed with the executive as we have seen, which has made Nigerians describe them as a rubber stamp. Now, the current
Patrick, I just want to clarify before you go. An ideal democracy doesn't mean the president, legislative, and executive are fighting. That's not an ideal executive. That's an activist ideology of an ideal democracy. That's not. An ideal democracy is where things are being done. There could be cohesion between the Senate and the legislative arm of government and the executive without wars. But it is the quality of governance that is being delivered, the quality of laws that is being churned out, that gives it whether what they call it, whether a legislative and an executive are working. It doesn't necessarily mean rubber stamp. Those are all terminologies raised by people who disagree with the government. And it's okay to disagree with the government and call them rubber stamp, fine. But war between Senate and executive does not necessarily deliver good governance. We've seen those wars in states. What did it change? Was there no, wait, let me ask the question. Rivers State, were they not doing boxing for nearly 1 year? How
Yes,
did
they
it
were.
deliver yes, how did it deliver good governance in Rivers State? It's a very good example. How did it deliver good governance in Rivers State?
How everything degenerated into an emergency
Uh-huh.
rule.
So fight between executive and legislative does not mean that what they call it does not mean that that they are
But,
delivering good governance. You can continue, sir.
yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that, okay, now, for example, look at the current assembly led by Akpabio in the Senate and Tajuddin Abbas in the, in the Green Chamber. This current one, a good number of Nigerians, including myself, we call it a copy and paste assembly. Ordinarily, this set of people should not be people. What I'm trying to say is that not necessarily the National Assembly being at loggerheads with the president, no, but let us see some kind of a legislature that disagrees with the executive on issues that are not in the interest of the people. I give you a very good example. At a particular time when Nigerians were shouting, protesting here and there, we heard what the Senate president say, whether Nigerians should be protesting, they will be eating and enjoying or something like that. And we have also seen a situation where on the day or time when Nigerians are shouting and saying they are feeling the economy is very bad as a result of subsidy removal and the floating of the naira. And then you see there's a screaming headline in the Guardian newspaper in particular of the Senate President Akpabio saying Tinubu's 2027, election is a done deal. I feel that it's an insult on the on the sensibilities of Nigerians and a clear demonstration of total insensitivity to the plight of Nigerians, in particular the people that sent that man to represent them in the red chambers. So what I'm trying to say is that such people should have no business in the National Assembly. In fact, they should even be recalled. They shouldn't be allowed to stay till 2027. If for any reason they are going to stay 2027, how should Nigerians send these people, recall these people? Because these people are there to represent Nigerians and not to get there and become sycophants of the executive in the face of the kind of very hardship, the kind of very difficult situation that the current leadership of this country
Wait,
has put in.
Patrick, have you
Yes,
heard a Republican senator talk about Donald Trump?
yes, I've listened to quite a number of them.
Have you heard any one of them disagreeing with him?
But what we're trying to say in this case is that for me, I feel
I don't know. No,
situation not as
there's
yeah,
Oga,
that's
what I'm trying to bring out is that there's the politics of it, of his office,
yes.
and then there's the work of it. Everybody in the same party or running the same things will say yes, 2023, 2027 is a done deal. That's the politics of it. He didn't say it while sitting down as Senate president, sitting on the seat. If he does that, that's when there's a problem. They were talking openly, and he said the 2027 is a done deal. He can't say it. He's an elected politician, oh, and he's also trying to send message that if Tinubu comes back, me too, I'm coming back as Senate president. It's all guarding. That's the politics of it. So for me, if we're going to have this kind of conversations, no, Patrick, I got you. If we're going to have this kind of conversations, let's divorce the politics of it from the governance of it, because that's what we're trying to talk about, the governance part of it right now, and that's what we're trying to face. So the governance part of it now is the Senate or Akpabio in the case which is mentioned critically performing as they are supposed to perform? That's the question, I believe, right?
Yes.
I don't think they are performing. They are underperforming. They are underworking. They are underdoing a lot of things. So you are right. But let's not talk about them talking about there's no politician in the world that doesn't hate his political party anywhere in the world. It's their work. It's what they do. That's the politics of it. You understand? That's the politics of it. There's no need to get emotional about it. It's the politics of it. But now are they performing? Nigerians. Patrick, Nigerians. So this is interesting. All of you in this class know what Akpabio said when and where and what. Yet you do not understand what it takes for your country to function. How can you see the things we hold important in this country? Everybody knows what Akpabio said. Everybody knows Saraki was fighting Buhari. Everybody knows David Mark is one of the longest serving senators. Somebody even argued Ahmed Lawan. Let me even ask you guys a more interesting question. In the 7th Assembly, that's 2015. This is the 9th. No, that's 8th Assembly. In the 8th Assembly, Saraki's Assembly, if anybody can remember. Or let me even bring it down. Let me not use Saraki. I'm going to open it, and you, Patrick, you'll be the first to answer the question. Dino Melaye and Ben Murray Bruce, who was the better senator?
It depends on the angle where you're looking at them from.
You have started the politics of it. Simple answer. Dino Melaye or Ben Murray Bruce. There's no angle you are looking for it. Who was a better senator?
I'll go with Ben Murray Bruce.
Why?
I'll go with Ben Murray Bruce because Dino was more of so that was right there. He had his own peculiarity in the sense that he had a fight with his governor back home. So there was a way he was trying to whip up, sentiments and curry some kind
Patrick,
of
Patrick, you're doing the same thing. The politics of it. That's not what I asked you. Who was the better senator? The governance part of it. But you made your choice. Lisa, are you there?
Yes, it is.
Lisa, unmute Abiodun Adebesin. Did I just murder that name? Hey. Yoruba people they'll just throw me, they'll just divorce themselves from me. Abiodun, can you unmute Abiodun?
Yes, I have. Abiodun, you can go ahead and
Okay.
speak.
Okay, Abiodun, can you tell us why you picked? Good evening, Abiodun. Can you tell us why you picked Abiodun? Why you picked Dino? Sorry.
Picked Dino because I believe Dino bring forth more beat than Ben Murray Breeze, because their function is to.
How did you know that? How did you know that?
Because I couldn't remember some of the. I knew it was because we are more about the way he's doing, but he bring forth more beat in the house and more even resolution in the house than Ben Murray Breeze.
Lisa.
Yes, it is.
Give Abiodun one attendance mark for what he just said.
All right.
Okay. Answer the question properly, and I'll tell you, Senator Dino Melaye, if not that, he so much has his head stuck up in Abiodun, he was talking Yoruba, we could hear him. Anyway, what they call it? Abiodun gave a very fair answer, which was very good. And the truth about it is that Dino Melaye is actually the most successful senator in Nigeria's history, no one recorded, because Dino Melaye passed, I think, nine bills passed. Senator Ben Murray Bruce proposed 3 bills, 2 on oil exploration, 1 on something else, oil, offshore steel. None of them passed. Do you know is by far a better senator than Ben Murray Bruce will ever be in his dreams? It's a very hard thing to understand, but we always pay attention to the politics of that you see. Yes, yes, they chased him one time. He died cast on his neck. He went to court. He climbed tree. Yeah, he did all that. But when you are talking about performance as a senator, Dino was exceptional. You can somewhere say also. Can we have the next person, please? Wait, who is moderating? You said I should give Lisa. You said I should give co-host to Jessica and Sahib, and both of them are totally absent. It's Miriam that is taking it. Why?
Sir, I can take that, sir. I'm the assistant moderator for today, and
Oh, okay.
Toyib is actually the main moderator.
Yeah, okay.
all
So
right.
everyone, common sense is not so common. No,
Okay.
that's in reference to this thing.
Yes, I've seen it in the comments as well.
Mm.
Mobalaji, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question now.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lawal.
Good afternoon.
Am I heard?
Oh, Bolaji.
Good afternoon.
Mobolaji.
Good afternoon,
Hello?
sir.
Mobolaji, I almost know your
Am
voice
I being...
now. How's everything? Said I
It's
know
fine,
your
thank
voice
you.
now. How's everything? Okay.
It's fine, sir. Thank you. So, my question comes from the lecture. We've been told that the legislatures enjoy certain privileges, including the oversight of the executive. But I just wanted to ask if you could expand on what an oversight of the executive means, and I give an example of a situation where a legislator has used that privilege.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mobolaji. Oversight could come in different functions. I'll give an example. Do you remember when we wanted to send troops to, was it Burkina Faso after the coup or something? I can't remember whether it was Burkina Faso, one of those countries, yeah. And the president said he was going to send troops to that country. When the matter reached the National Assembly voted against it. That's the oversight on the functions of the commander-in-chief. Yeah, and Nigeria didn't send troops there. Niger Republic, thank you very much. Can't remember. Too many coups have happened in Africa these days. Confusion is catching everyone. Niger Republic, they didn't send troops. That's oversight on the executive. The president is the commander-in-chief. He can order those kind of things, but the Senate can cancel and throw away face and nothing will happen. Now I know that many people, especially people who had argued, will not even remember that this occurred. And this was a situation where the Senate went against the president. But, I don't know. I think it's the activists in Nigeria. They just make things flatline, as if the Senate has never disagreed with the presidency. It has. Multiple times. Anyway,
Mr. Wala.
I hope that answers you.
Yes, thank
You
you.
also have
Thank you for the clarification. I have another question. It's short. I just wanted to ask if there are any consequences for a plenary that hasn't reached the required 181 cities.
I told you that this occurred with the last tenure, Ahmed Lawan Senate. But
yes,
there's the law, but there's no consequence after that, like most of our laws.
Okay, thank you so much for answering.
Thank you very much, Mobalaji.
All right. So the next question is from the chat box by Angba Solomon. He's asking, what are the right way to achieve constituency project constitutionally?
You make it law, no? The National Assembly has to sit down and make it law. Not law, not part of anything. It's not part of function. So you make it a law. Follow the same bills, make it a bill. Pass, 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 it becomes law.
Okay. So Bolaji Daniels is also asking, who is in charge of scrutinizing the misrepresentation of most legislators?
Who is in charge?
Yes, who is in charge of scrutinizing the misrepresentation of most legislators?
Most legislators. So there will
Yes.
be somebody in charge of scrutinizing most legislators, not most people in the legislature, not all. I'm happy. Rotimi, thank you for the answer. The voters, it's very simple.
Okay, thank you, sir. Atako John is asking if councillors are also part of the legislature, and if so, why are they not effective? Why are they not very effective?
Have you seen the people you elect as councillors? Those ones I'm not sure they can even read as they goes to school. I don't even understand constitution and making law. And I think I've said this multiple times that councillors are legislative. I've said that from your intro class. I said that in your executive class. I've said it here again. And somebody is still asking the question whether they are legislative. But now this breaks my heart painfully. Because I've said to you 3 times. Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
Okori Ikene is asking if a senator can be impeached by the 2/3 of the Senate member.
I just told you the only way.
Okay.
You see, sometimes things like this, it really throws me off my. I just told you the only way somebody in the legislative arm can be removed. Impeach is for executives. Impeach. The word impeach only goes with executive. Recall goes with legislative. Why? People are trying to test my resolve to be patient. I'll try to be more patient. But no, impeach is not a conversation to be mentioned when you use the word legislative.
Okay.
Miriam, let's move on now.
Josiah Finehas is asking, why do FCT have only one senator and just 2 House of Representative members, while others have more equal numbers?
The Constitution clearly calls the FCT the Federal Capital Territory. It's not a state. And for all of those that want to use the word during election, the FCT was called a state. If you read your Constitution, in matters which the FCT is participatory in, it adopts the characteristics of a state. It doesn't make it a state, but even in elections, it can be called a state. That's election matters. The FCT has a legislature, and that's the National Assembly. Do you understand? And it has like a governor, which is the president. In matters, and if you read your constitution well, it's clear. In matters that concern that these things are needed, the president will act as governor or National Assembly will be. So the FCT adopts, and it's written there somewhere. I think I'll pull it up and post it on the group. It's written, the FCT adopts characteristics of a state when it comes to others, because you can't treat it like it's nothing. So it adopts characteristics of a state on different matters, but it's not a state.
All right. So Elijah, Enoch, and Ibrahim Yusuf, they're asking the same question. From Elijah, just like we all know, a citizen is only entitled to be elected as president or governor twice, a total of 8 years. The question is there restriction to the tenure of the legislators? And
None.
Ibrahim Yusuf,
There is none. Let me clear it. There is none. Joe Biden of the US was a senator from when he was 32. And till when he became vice president. And then became president eventually. There's no, as long as you can return, you can keep returning. I think one of the longest serving senators, if not the longest, Ahmed Lawan. He's been there since he was, 36, 37. It's been in every cohort. Don is a strong man.
All right.
Can we move on to the next question?
Yes. Ali Abubakar, concerning the Supreme Court's ruling on local government autonomy, is the ruling withdrawn or it died a natural death?
Who is asking that question?
Ali Abubakar Sadiq.
Was there no local government class last week? Why are we discussing local government autonomy inside my class? And a Supreme Court ruling cannot die. It has interpreted, it is the way the law is seen. So local government autonomy has not gone anywhere.
All right, Edie. We'll take more questions from the people that are raising their hands since you have more time. Paul, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question.
Hello.
Is Paul there? Okay, hi.
Please, I have a question. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I don't know if I'm being heard.
I can hear you. Good evening.
Hello.
Good
Thank you
evening.
very
I
much.
can
I
hear
have
you.
two questions. One with regards to the yes, I've proceeded. Please, I have two questions. One with regards to the length of the bill that you spoke about, and two with regards to the challenges of the legislature, that is the National House of Assembly. First, you spoke about the length of a bill, and you made a comparison with that of the foreign countries, that is the United States of America. Now, I want to ask, don't you think it's because of a covering of lacunas, holes in between sections, that we are having a lengthy law or bill passed? Don't you think it's because of we are trying to cover up loopholes so that perpetrators or lawbreakers will not hinge on one side or the loopholes of the law to perpetrate evil acts? Don't you think it's because we are trying to cover all angles that we are making lengthy laws? Now, my second question is regards to
No,
the
let me answer. Calm down. Let me answer your first question.
all right.
Have you looked at a bill? Have you seen a bill in Nigeria?
Yes.
I'm
A lot
asking
of bills.
which bill? A lot. Which one? Pick
Now,
one.
bills are being. Hello?
That's not the question I asked you. Have you seen a bill in Nigeria? You said lots of them. I said pick one.
Yes.
Abby, pick
Yes.
one. Which one are you picking?
Company and Allies Matters Act 2020, before it came into the Company and Allies Matters Act. The bill before it became the act, the Company and Allies Matters Act.
Okay.
And it's one of the voluminous acts that we have in the country.
You see, I think I should have clarified the differences.
All right.
The example I gave you was not from America. It actually was from Nigeria. And it was about generation of lights, generation of electricity, which was 1 megawatt, which altering you can now generate 10 megawatts, alter the system. When you're writing an act, it's a whole different conversation. That's where you cover the lacunas. That's an act. I was talking about bills that effect change, like improving electricity, rotation of finances, etc. You are talking about an act, which is a totally different conversation.
I get the point.
Thank you. Okay then, sir. Can we move ahead, sir?
The second question, you also spoke about the challenges with regard of the legislature, that is the National House of Assembly. I spoke a lot, and your remark was that God went. Don't you think one of the challenges that we have also is the attitude we give to those persons? Because from practical experience, once a member is coming back home, the first thing that we run to him is finances. Give us money, or we smuggle our sons and daughters to his office so that he can give them political appointment, knowing fully well they are not fit or they have not applied or followed the due process in getting such kind of employment. So don't you think one of the issues is coming from the masses, how our attitude towards those persons. I don't think if a member will stay in his constituency 24 hours for the whole year or 4 years or 5 years or whatever the length will be, don't you think that person will be drained? And
What's your
there'll
name?
be a
What's your
lot
name?
of
Chairman, what's your name again? So let me,
Matthias
what's your
Paul.
name again? I
Matthias
can't.
Paul
You
Ude.
said? You said?
Matthias Paul Ude.
Okay,
Matthias.
Matthias, first and foremost, you need to understand this. It is
Yes.
only in Nigeria that legislators live in the FCT. You can check all over the world.
Is the-
They
yes,
come
yes, yes,
from
yes.
their
Is the Nigerian-
constituencies. Please wait and hear me out. I've listened to you.
Mm.
They come from their constituencies, they attend legislative meetings, and they go back home.
Yes.
They are not domiciled. So what is their tired? You need to critically understand that the point you just brought out, number one, I'll first tell you, senators and House of Rep are not only dealing with people that voted for them, they are dealing with CSOs that want some bills passed. They are dealing with multiple people. Are we asking for money from them? We aren't. And
Yes.
you know that conversation. We are not asking for money from them. Okay, then why do they treat the electoral college, other CSOs and whatever the way they do? Secondly, you need to understand that the only thing that most of National Assembly can offer is money. That's why the people offer them money. Have you seen a Nigerian senator? And this is me saying boldly that apart from myself and maybe like 2 or 3 others and a few people that maybe I mentored while they were running for office, I do not know of a legislator that ran for office proposing bills. So what do they offer when they're running for office? Money. So why are you confused why are you mentioning the attitude of the people when all you can offer is money? If all you can offer is money, then the people will always ask you for money now. Will they ask you for bills? They know you don't have, number one, you've not read the constitution, you don't know anything. It's not a lie now. Let's be factual. So don't say the attitude of the people. The attitude of the people is based on the tradition of the leaders. Very simple. There's no mathematics inside it. If you can offer something more than money, then we'll have a conversation. But if all you can offer is money, because you cannot have a conversation, then we too will require money from you now. It's not so hard. I'm not saying it's right, but it's the truth.
That's my point.
You said?
No, that's my point. I've gotten you, sir.
Thank you very much, Matthias.
All right. Comrade Barua, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question.
Okay.
Hello? Miriam, I can't hear. Miriam,
Good
I
evening.
can't hear him.
Good evening. Ide.
Okay.
Good evening.
Hello?
Good evening.
Miriam,
Good
I can't
evening,
hear
Ide.
him. No, good evening.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Permit me to stand on the exist.
It keeps muting. I don't know what they're
Barua,
trying.
are you still there? Are you still there? I think we should take another question. Sure. Mohammed, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, good day, sir.
Mohammed, ask your question. Go ahead.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good
Thank you,
evening.
Edie. I really appreciate your effort to make us literate the politics in Nigeria. So,
Thank you.
my own concern is about this legislature. You see, I think this is the bedrock of the democracy, as you explained to us, and then it has to be solid. So, I don't know why we are having those leaders that doesn't have the knowledge of making laws, because the issue we are facing is that most of the representative, either Senate or federal rep, so most of them used to think being in that National Assembly for the first time is to go and watch how things should be done. Whereas they're supposed to learn how things should be done before they go there. But they will go there for the first 4 years and go and waste the time of millions of people that voted for them to be in that position. So I believe there's supposed to be something like prerequisite they must have before they can have this privilege to be there. So if there is a way, if there is a school or a certificate they must get and or a test. So it's not everybody. So as we said, our Nigerian is what we think they can offer, like money. That is what we will request for them. So, but if they have the quality, the knowledge, to make the laws, it will make it easier for them when they reach that place. So, is there any way Nigeria Constitution, it can be put in Nigeria Constitution that anybody that will vie for the post of National Assembly or any House of Assembly or Councillor, they must pass through a legislative, maybe a college or educational system before they can vie for that post. So, is there any way Nigeria can go for that? Thank you.
First and foremost, I'd like to let you know that they are trained when they enter office. Do they listen to the training? They are shaking each other and talking about constituency and new Prado jeeps. So, secondly, is it not us that used to vote? I don't understand. Sometimes I wonder how Nigerians would just remove themselves from one equation totally and just pass it. Like those people just walk into office, or it's a monarchy. If you are born from this family, you just become a legislator. That's not the way it works. Has any Nigerian here listened to any senator that was talking about the kind of bills he wants to put forward and chose not to vote for him? Yes. At least some of you were in Abuja when I ran in the FCT. You weren't ready to listen to me now because I didn't have Prado jeeps and I didn't have a helicopter, or I didn't have whatever. I didn't have it now. Nobody was ready to listen to me. I was busy talking about it. So I don't know. So let's not mortgage our responsibility in this. These people didn't just fall from heaven. They are people that understand the constitution, have the best interest of Nigeria in their hearts. But you people don't want to listen to them. You say, that one, what party is he running? What party is that? We don't even know his party. It's your business not to know his party logo and vote for him that day. Don't open your mouth and say, they just appeared. They didn't just appear there, Nigerians. You put them there. Sometimes in the test of, hey, we are obedient, hey, we are articulated, hey, we are batified, you just vote trash. You vote, Nigeria is guilty of, if Nigerians used to write international exams a lot, they will fail a lot because Nigerians, according to that, if the exams were elections, Nigeria, so far you like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, everything down, top to bottom, straight, top to bottom, APC. I like Peter Obi, top to bottom, Labour Party. You don't even know whether it's a former APC person, like in the case of Ireti Kingibe, who did not get ticket in APC, that jumped and went to get ticket in Labour Party. And then now she has become a Labour Party senator of Abuja. And guess what? Anything APC says, she's behind. She's not even separating herself. She's still APC. She's just Labour Party by covering. She's APC in action. Do you understand? So ask yourself those questions. We don't look at Nigerians. We don't look at who we are voting in the legislature. You don't even care. Peter Obi, Atiku, ratified. Then when you finish the elections, then you now look at the Senate and see some people. You now be like, how did this guy get there? Waiting happen. How did this one get there? It's because you that put them there. So I don't understand how Nigerians just exclude themselves from the conversation and say, this one, I'm not there. It's not me. It's who then? First question is who, sir? We put them there.
Of course.
So if anybody has a problem, with who came into the house. We put them there. See the guy that won Etiosa beating Banky W in Etiosa. Now I cannot even spell his name properly. No offense. But Labour won. Yeah, Labour won. Nigeria lost. I think we need to get into that mindset. Yes, Bola Ahmed Tinubu won. Some APC guys came into Senate. Nigeria lost. Some people voted Atiku and voted PDP down the line. Some PDP senators came inside. Nigeria lost. We must intensively scrutinize. Can this guy be a president? Yes, okay, president. I'm voting this. Secondly, Senate. Can this guy is he someone that understands the constitution? Is he going to stand by the bills he's promised us? Has he promised us any bills? This one has. Okay, him, Senate, might be different party. Third one, House of Rep. Is this one viable enough? Has he done work in the House of Rep? Has he shown he can carry himself? Yes, viable, understands the constitution. Might be another party. So you can vote APC, Labour Party, NNPP. But we do not choose like that. Nigerians just choose whoever is the head chicken in charge. I didn't call anybody that is presidential candidate head chicken. I just use it as whoever is the head chicken in charge. You just follow all the chicks where they follow for back, plus egg that has not even hatched yet. People carry it and put it on ballot paper. Then you wonder why you have a problem. You have a problem. That's the truth. I'll take the next question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, I think we should take one more question because of time. Munir, I've asked you to your mute.
No,
Kindly...
I'm not going anywhere. Is anybody planning to go?
No. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So why are you acting as principal? Thank you.
Okay, Munir, kindly ask your question. I've asked you to unmute. Munir, are you still there?
Yes, ma. Sorry, I'm having a little issue. Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Munir, how's everything?
Fine, sir. I was wrong. Sir, I just wanted to ask you a question regarding the impeachment of the president. Like, if an issue has been arised and maybe the president has been impeached, we know that the Senate president is supposed to occupy his position. So why not the vice president? That was the first question. And then the second question,
let me answer. No, Munir, please. I'm not a computer, so let me be taking your first question, then go to the second question. Please, Munir, let me first attend the first question. Let me ask you, who picks the vice president?
Sir?
Munir, I'm asking you, who picks the vice president?
Sir, who picks the
vice president? Who picks the vice president?
The president, sir.
When they are campaigning, Abi?
Yes, sir.
Do they vote for the vice president?
No.
Okay. So they don't vote for the vice president. So the vice president just joins the president. Whose ticket?
President.
So if they impeach the president, why should the vice president remain?
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Do you remember the Edo scuttle that they wanted to impeach the deputy governor?
Okay, yes, sir.
So you can remove a vice president. You can remove a vice president. You can remove a deputy governor. But once you remove the man on top, if you remember the case of what's his name? Bayelsa, Lion. Lion had won the elections. Lion was clean. His deputy governor broke the Electoral Act, forged certificate. Because they attacked on the same ticket, he was thrown out. Another person. So that's governor, so that's deputy governor. Once the president is impeached, who is the vice president? He's only there if the president dies. There's no other conversation the vice president is holding.
Okay, I so much appreciate, sir, and I understand
Thank you,
now.
sir.
Sir,
Thank
the
you, sir.
second question is, we know that some of our ministers been appointed. They have maybe some issue of corruptions, maybe record of corruptions and some misappropriations, and they have gone through the Senate screening before being appointed. While still, they have those kind of issues. So why the Senate still go on and screen for them?
Well, it goes back to the same thing I have told you from the beginning. You people went and elected rogues. So that you wanted to put Labour Party, APC, PDP, you elected rogues. Those rogues that you've elected now, we cannot undo it. Do you understand? We cannot undo it.
Yes, sir.
So if those rogues are carrying their guys and getting them into office, whose fault is it? It's nobody's fault.
Exactly.
So you can't expect good. So can we go back to ensuring that the right kind of people exist in politics? The right kind of people. We should be concerned about every election, local government, every one. And for the people that are telling me that they are going to vote for me if I buy Prado, I've used my money to be training people in electoral college, so I cannot buy Prado.
Exactly, sir.
I
We
just was
appreciate
just now.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay then.
All right. Josiah, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question now.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Edie, for this wonderful session. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So, my question goes like this. I really was looking for a way to put it straightforward, but maybe from how I will ask it, it might make sense. My question is specifically on the indigenous people of Abuja. Now, I'm afraid to say FCT because FCT can be moved from Abuja to another place, just as it was moved from Lagos to Abuja. Now, so that's why I'm using the indigenous people of Abuja. Now, what is their place? Does the constitution take into cognizance these people that are called indigenous people of Abuja, and does it give them any special recognition for the sacrifices that they have made in terms of their land, their culture,
Well, I
their
don't know.
tradition?
I don't understand when you use the word sacrifices. Were they not paid for their land?
Well, there is no evidence to show that they were
Right?
paid
No,
for their
there
land.
is a no, Oga. Don't say that. Say if you do
Well,
not know. Say no, you will not do this. If you
I know, sir.
you will not do this. You will not. I won't allow it. You see, I told you that when we were in the college, when we were discussing, let's stick to facts. Let's not be, inventing things. Don't invent things here. The FCT were fully paid. Fully paid. There's even a joke. If you've lived in Abuja as long as I have, there's a constant joke that if you give a Gwari man the first thing is money, the first thing he's going to go and do is going to go and buy Pito and going to marry 3 wives. And that was because that was what a lot of them did with the money. Is there special recognition? Yes, FCT has special recognition. But because it's a capital city, it has special recognition for every Nigerian. FCT, making it a capital territory, makes it home to every Nigerian. That's the truth, and that's the law. As regards the indigenous people, they were paid large amounts of money. I even remember the last set of people that were paid. I was in Abuja at the time, and that's where we call Apo resettlement. So Apo was their resettlement after they had taken some of their lands and homes. And these things were not just named stupidly. They were named for reasons. Apo resettlement was where all the indigenes that were villagers or whatever within Usetu and whatever were moved to. Hence the name Apo resettlement. And I know most people don't know why it's called Apo resettlement. That's the reason it's called Apo resettlement. They moved to Apo resettlement. They sold all those houses in less than 3 years. I was in Abuja, this is talking 2001. 2002. They sold all those houses. So if you've collected money and you've collected benefits to be FCT as indigenous people, which is the nicest thing any government can do, you cannot come and start saying you want to drag other things. So drag what? You finish spending money, you want to come back and harass Nigeria. No, nope, not
Well,
allowed.
okay. Now, there's a misconception about this FCT we're talking about here. Now, we have 6 area council. Yes, we have 6 area councils in the FCT.
Okay.
So, we have Abaji, we have Kwali, we have Uche, we have Amak, and then we have Gwagwalada. Now, this place that you mentioned, this forest settlement, is in Amak. Now, what happens to those settlements that are in Abaji, those remote villages that are in Kuje, talking about Rubochi and other people, those people
Have they been tapped?
Oga,
this is not a class for activism. Secondly,
no, it's not an activity.
Then from what I know, Rubochi in what they call it, Rubochi is in Abaji, right?
Kuje Area Council.
That because Kuje Area Council. Till development reached there, they were not disturbed. They hadn't gotten to them. Same with places in Abaji or whatever. They've not reached that part. So they are not disturbed. They are still living in their lands, or they chase them out of everywhere. They didn't now. So what is the conversation that you're making right now?
Because I've had an opportunity to sit with various indigenous group in the FCT, and the constant argument is that if really, because a fraction of those that were compensated, I can remember from my conversation with them, there was a settlement in where the stadium is right now. They were moved to Kubwa. That was where those initially where they were moved to Kubwa, and then they were compensated. We don't want to talk about now. People coming into FCT from the airport down to the city center.
See, I don't. Wait, Chairman. This class is for the executive. It is not argument. It's not argument over the FCT. If you have an argument, write wiki. Please write wiki, because I don't see any executive conversation in all of this. So if you have problems, write wiki, please. Let's not do FCT conversation. So we won't turn this class into FCT
it's
conversation.
just a misconception that they were
Please, don't use the word. Don't use. Oga. I'll tell you, I've worked in Abuja and I've worked around things long enough to know what I'm saying. I wouldn't say something that is not, but if you want to champion and argue the FCT's cause, like I said, it's a free country. Your opinions are valid, but you need to understand that you do not twist opinions with a narrative. It's unnecessary. If it were that bad, trust me, in Nigeria, marginalized in their own land, I know what will happen. And you know it. So let's not even have that conversation. Please, let's answer things that are relevant to this course and not whether some people are happy or not. It's irrelevant, totally. Miriam, can we have the next question, please?
Yes, Edie.
And please, nobody should ask me any activist question. I'm not going to answer it.
All right. Olumide Akerele, I've asked you to unmute.
Hello. Hear you, Olumide. Your background is really noisy, though.
Okay,
Mariam, I think you can take the next question. Maybe.
Yes, I'll take the next question now.
Time to write the question in the chat box.
And Olumide, you can write the question in the chat box. Emenike, I've asked you to unmute. I'm sorry if I murdered your name, by the way.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening,
Okay, please, my question is about passing like influencing the passing of a bill? I know we are not legislators, but for our maybe legislators, maybe they don't know that a particular aspect of the constitution, maybe we're not happy with it and then we want it to be changed, like will be adjusted. So how do we influence them to pass a bill and effect necessary corrections?
You could help write the bill that you want drafted to suit what is exactly, and then go meet your legislator. It doesn't have to be your legislator. See, you need to understand something. Any legislator that puts something on the floor of the House makes a bill that affects the entire country. So even though they represent a particular constituency, the laws in which they propose are national. So it is clear that it is clear to say that if you want to have to approach them on something you do not like or whatever, find a legislator that is ready to listen to you or that you understand, and then you can have such conversations and then get the bill passed.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Daniel, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question now.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? Good evening, sir.
I can.
Yeah, Mr. Amy, thank you so much for the lectures we've been receiving so far. They've been very enlightening and I've been enriched a lot. Please, my question is as follows. In your opinion, sir, can Nigeria operate a unicameral legislature, or
Can
is it
it
that we'll
operate a
need
what?
to
I didn't hear the word.
unicameral legislature?
Oh, unicameral. Okay. I think I already said that. I stated that already. I said I
Under
was
the
in a
presidential
conversation. I
system.
stated it. Yes,
Under the
yes, I
current
stated that.
presidential
Yes,
system. Okay. Or do we
yes, I
revert
stated
to?
that.
Then my second question is, yeah. Yes, sir. My second question, sir, is for Nigeria, for a country like Nigeria that is still developing, between the presidential system and the previously practiced parliamentary system in the First Republic, which one will suit us better, sir? Thank you so much, sir.
Well, I'll tell you why parliamentary does not suit Nigeria. It's a very simple reason. If you've watched the UK, which is a parliamentary system, you'll get to understand one critical thing, that you need to know the laws of the country, and the parliamentary is full of constant debates with the prime minister on laws and whatever, and things being changed. It's quick. It takes a lot. Is it Nigerians that don't know the constitution? And 70-something% or close to 60-some% that don't know the constitution, that are going to start to argue laws like they do in the UK. We are finished with that now. We already complained that even with this presidential system where they don't have to argue too many laws, just produce bills and whatever, they cannot function. Then you're not asking them to go to University of Legislature to go and function. I had heard parliamentary system now. Now with the kind of legislators we have now, with the kind of people we have in Nigeria too. No, nah. This is what suits us. Miriam, I'll take the next question.
Okay. Olumide has written his question in the chat box. He asked, when you say the minority elect the minority leader, do you mean the PDP, LP, and NMPP come together to elect a minority leader?
Yes, no. That's what I mean.
Okay. So Olufunsho Olamilekon is asking, what is your take on youth engagement in the legislative arm? I came across the National Youth Parliament some time ago, and I have been wondering, how does this influence the above?
Miriam, I didn't hear what you said.
All right. The question is, what is your take on youth engagement in the legislative arm? I came across the National Youth Parliament some time ago, and I have been wondering, how does this influence the above? I mean, the youth engagement.
I'm not in the National Assembly. I think someone in the National Assembly is better suited to answer that question. But National Assembly barely engages anybody. So I would say, dependent on their studio engagements, maybe they'll just do take pictures with some people, drop Ghana must go. I do not understand. So my take on general engagement, engagement between National Assembly and Nigerians is quite poor. And if you look at even the youth sector, it's quite poor generally. But that's how I see their operations. Could be better, but with youth, I don't. What's youth parliament even doing? Those ones that haven't. I don't want to discuss that. That's another conversation. Let's just not have it.
Namdi, I've asked you to unmute. Kindly ask your question.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for an impactful session so far, and for other
Thank
classes as well.
you.
So my question is more or less like an opinion and also a question. Now to start with, you said when we are talking about how to distinguish party loyalty from legislative functions, you said something that we cannot ask a senator or a senate president not to support his party or his party leader, as in the case of our current president. And now there is a distinction between the statements he make outside of the Senate and his legislative functions. But on June 12th, when the president was to make his democracy speech, the venue for that speech was in the National Assembly. And during the course of his speech, he made some innuendos that suggested that he was, more or less like a campaign. And at some point, you heard some senators singing, "On your mandate, Bola, on your mandate," in the red chambers. I found that very appalling because it felt as though there were no other parties in Nigeria, and it felt as though Nigeria was a one-party system. It felt as though we don't have a democracy. I mean, that could happen anywhere, not in the red chambers, where democracy should be our, policy and principles. Now, I feel like there has to be a line that should be drawn between party politics and legislative functions, or party loyalty and legislative functions. So it is better that the Senate president, for me, antagonizes the president as a form of checks and balances than for a Senate president to be thrown into a pulpit or a rubber stamp on the name of party loyalty. So my question now is that, does any section of the Constitution guide or regulate activities of a sitting Senate president towards the president in terms of party loyalty or affiliations of party membership, or in view to limit or abate rubber stamp legislative head? Is there any kind of law or constitution that sets a boundary, sets a boundary between what the president, how the Senate president should associate or should relate with the executive head? In fact, I feel that there has to be a constitution, there should be a constitution that ensures that the Senate president and the executive head are not of the same party membership, regardless of the political situation, because I feel that that is the best way that we can ensure
Namdi, do you know why I'm
that the
laughing?
Senate president.
Namdi, do you know why I'm laughing?
No, sir.
Do you know why I'm laughing? Do you know why I'm laughing?
No, sir.
You've broken.
No,
I
sir.
can hear you clearly. Do you know why
Okay,
I'm
sir.
laughing? You've broken like 7 constitutional provisions in trying to achieve one thing that you're not happy. Let me just ask you a question now. Did you dislike the president? Yes or no? It's okay to dislike the president, but I'm asking you, do you dislike the president?
I don't
It's a
dislike the
simple question.
president, but I
Yes or
dislike
no?
some
No
of
need for
his
English.
policies.
No need for English. I'll tell you I dislike the president too, but here's the conversation. Here's what I know, and here's what I don't think you're following. There's freedom of association in Nigeria. That June 12th that you're talking about is a celebratory Senate sitting. So it's not held by the laws of party or by the normal formal laws. It's a celebratory sitting for Democracy Day, which the president visited. It's not official. It's not a plenary. Do you understand? So because it's not a plenary, it gives room for that kind of conversation. Do you understand? And if you've watched State of the Union, which is even formal in the US, where President Trump comes to Republicans, they shout for their demo. They've thrown one senator in the congressman in the US out of the State of Union, I believe, during Trump's last time. And it was because the guy was against, he's a Democrat against Trump. So when they were hailing Trump, he was yanning his own rubbish on the other side. So what stopped the people in Labour Party from singing? What stopped people from PDP from singing their own song? What stopped people in, come on. I don't like the conversations when they say Nigeria is a one-party state. It hurts me. Is it that we all of a sudden erased 1999 to 2003 from our lives? Nobody called Nigeria a one-party state then. The only party that did not have a PDP governor was Lagos, AD, and I think Zamfara, CPC. All other states, 34 states, and the FCT were under the PDP, and nobody called Nigeria a one-party state. Now that there is a Labour Party in what they call it, Abia, there's NNPP in Kano, there's APGA in Anambra, there's what else? There's PDP in Oyo and a few other states, and then there's APC. Why are you calling Nigeria a one-party state? What brought that conversation? What brought it? You have 8 different parties in the National Assembly as we speak. How is Nigeria a one-party state? You see these conversations. I understand. I don't like the president. I don't like his motives, but I still respect the institution. This is the difference. I don't like on your mandate, we shall stand. But come on, and you can Google it. Do you know the American president has a presidential theme song? I'm sure most of you don't know this. Please Google it and come back and tell me. Let's see who has fast fingers. Do you know the US president? Please, somebody should check it. Do you know the US president has a presidential theme song? And you hear it in all those movies that you've watched. Just before the president, not the American anthem. You hear that song they play before and they say the president of the United States. It's a theme song. And I think it's been on since 1954, if I'm right.
I think
I'm not
something
sure
that
of the
has to do
time.
with Hail the Chief or something.
Yeah, hail to the chief. Is
Hail
that
to
not
the
worse
Chief.
than worse than on your mandates? Please. Is that not worse than on your mandate? Why are we so emotional with politics in Nigeria? Why are we so emotional? Why? Look at their own. Hail the chief of all things. Hail the chief. Which chief? Chief of what? That Trump. That is going to pay a week. That's not happening. Anyway, they have hail the chief. Our own is just on your mandate, which is, even if it sounds more electoral, it's not more. I'm not justifying it. I'm just comparing. We are learning here, and we can only learn if we expand our horizons. Do you understand? So US they play it every time the president is coming out. Once they play the anthem, they start, then they just say the president of the United States, and it's done. So do you realize the wahala that is there to have that kind of thing? So let's always have an open, robust mind to things. Let's deal with the issues and the policies that affect us and how governance should be is working with the system. Let's deal with whether legislature is functional, whether the president is acting within the ambits of it or jurisdictions of his power or his seat. Let's leave all this on your mandate. Nigeria is a one-party state. Who told you Nigeria is a one-party state? The people that told you Nigeria is a one-party state were members of a party that controlled 33 states at a time in Nigeria, and nobody called them one-party state. Now that they are boxed into a corner, it's now Nigeria is a one-party state. Stop that kind of joke, Nnamdi.
Thank you, sir. But
Nigerians
is there a
should stop it.
constitution is there a constitution that guides the activities of the Senate president, just as a checks and balances?
There will
I don't
never
know.
be. There will never be, and I'll tell you why. Nigeria guarantees freedom of association, of speech, as long as it's not infringing on anybody. As long as those 2 rights exist in the Constitution, that will never happen. If the Senate president is shaking the president, There's nothing there. If he's hailing the president, there's nothing there. What do you want them to be doing? Fighting? So for us to know that government is working, Senate president must blow president in the eye. That's not a democracy. It's not necessary. They can disagree, but it doesn't mean they should blow each other in the eye.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right,
So I
sir.
believe
Thank
we
you very
have just
much.
one last question.
Yes, Joshua Samson.
Okay, finally. Joshua Samson, let me handle your question and then you can call it a day quickly.
Okay, Joshua, you can speak. I've asked you to unmute. Joshua, are you there?
All right, good evening.
Good evening, Joshua.
All right. Sir, thank you so much for the knowledge you shared. So my question is regarding sir, what other ways would you advise CSOs to push for the amendment of the Electoral Act 2022? One of it which demands that there should be mandatory transmission of results, which INEC said, oh, INEC said, oh, they choose to, the Electoral Act did not mandate them, but so CSOs are trying to push for that. And then another thing again is making the Electoral Act be yes for the past days. Thank you. I don't know if you got that question, sir. Thank you.
I didn't get the second part. And you're asking me how CSOs are going to mandate that's our job. We're just going to have to negotiate our way through. So we're in the process of doing that. I can't say one clear-cut way in which we can do that. I noticed Akatu Jennifer's this thing, call it a day. My question is pending, sir. That call it a day. Now, wow, I'm working for you guys. Tell Jennifer can you unmute Jennifer so that she can ask a question directly? And I think there's a boy guy here, but let me take Jennifer because I saw what Jennifer typed. I can't see your question through this thing. So, Miriam, unmute Jennifer, please.
Okay, Edie, I'm trying to unmute her now. Funny. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you can speak now, Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. Are you there? I've asked you to unmute.
She's unmuted.
Yeah, she's not speaking.
Okay, so let's move it to Boyega quickly.
Okay, sir.
All right, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Boyega.
Yeah, and thanks so much for all that you're doing for the nation building and all. The question is not literally as regards the legislative. I think on Monday when you sent in the assignment, the question number 2 was, what does it mean to be a citizen in a democracy like Nigeria? I felt like I have a perspective of what it is, but then I want to throw my perspective back to you, and then I want you to help me to make the necessary criticism and correction where needed. For me personally, I believe citizenship is totally different from what we tend to see, most especially when people were giving their suggestion in my group. For me, citizenship gives full and legal access to an individual to be a part of a state, to operate within and also to contribute to the social and economical development of that state as it may be. So, in comparison to developed and developing countries, for me, this remains the only legal certification that affirms a membership of a state, which kind of being contrary to that of my nation, Nigeria. Because if I grew up in Lagos, for an instance, and then I reside there, but maybe I'm from Ogun State or let's say Ondo State, just because Lagos State is not my state of origin, I'm kind of being held back when it comes to electioneering or contesting for an
Wait, I
elective
want to
office.
ask you a question. What is holding you back?
More like the
Wait,
people.
because let's clarify. The law is not holding you back.
Sure, yes, law is not holding me back, but then the people kind of
But
have a
Desmond
love.
Elliott is not from Lagos now,
Yes, Desmond Elliott is not from
and he's
Lagos,
not
but
the only one. No.
yes, I know. Desmond Elliott is
The
not from
Etiosa
Lagos.
House of Rep, the Etiosa House of Rep is from Kogi
Yes, the
State.
guy is not from Lagos too. Yes, sir.
So what are you saying? They held you back. You held yourself back.
Okay.
No,
So
you want us to tell the truth in this class. Let's not lie now. Does Desmond have two heads?
no, Desmond does not have two heads.
So then what's holding you back?
Okay, so in the case of Desmond Elliott, Desmond Elliott, permit me to say, was literally being able to make use of the advantage of the ruling and the governing system of that
Which
particular
ruling
state.
and the governance? Wait, but you what?
APC was
Wait,
actually ruling Lagos.
I have a question.
I'm with you, sir.
What has stopped you from using advantage? Any advantage you have? What stopped you? Do you know part of politics is using your advantage to get what you want? That's part of politics.
Sure.
Like me now, I speak Hausa fluently. It is my advantage. If I'm running in Abuja, yes, they are Gwari people, but the Hausa community is large here. Also, I'm gifted to be what they call it, to be part Western. And even my small Ishekiri blood that is playing inside my body, when I go to Ishekiri community, I remind them that one of my grandmothers is Shekiri. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
And you play all your advantages. I'm not going to joke with it. And I have
Sure.
quite the heritage. I'm part Fulani, I'm part Yoruba, I'm part Ishekiri. And I play my advantage to full capacity. How do you want to do it in politics? And then I also can dive, and I'm going to explain it to you so that it looks normal. My father, Muslim, my mom, Catholic. I went to Arabic school, completed it. So you complete the Holy Quran and you complete catechism. You cannot choose a religion in my house. So I can divert into anyone at will. I will not use it. My middle name is Ibrahim. I will not use it. There were places in Abuja where my posters that came out were Ibrahim Lawal. It wasn't Kunle Lawal. Is it not the party flag you should remember? It's not my name on the ballot. And I
Absolutely.
played my advantage. And I did well in those places. Utako and Jabi are more like a Hausa community. My posters there were Ibrahim Lawal. You won't see any poster Kunle Lawal. My friends were like, Kunle, this guy, you're a crook. Of course, now I'm a crook. I'll play what I can I'll play the advantage when I need it. Because Nigeria is that way. When we finish fixing Nigeria, we can now start saying, okay, we want to fix Nigeria. But as of now, status quo as it is, that is what you play.
Thank you, sir.
No problem, sir.
I really appreciate all that you said, using yourself as a case study for me. But then,
thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. And I agree totally with everything you said.
And don't think I'm the son of politicians. I'm the son of 2 university lecturers. Let me make it clear. Before you say I had one big money, I did not have. I'm happy I shared my book with you people. I shared my book with you. So whichever big money you want to see, my mother is still a lecturer in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. My mother is still a lecturer there. So you know how much they pay lecturers. It's not running for Senate money. That's why I shared my book to show you that. So before you come through that angle, I've blocked that door too.
I don't intend to. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Okay, so like I just like I said, I totally agree with everything you said. using yourself as a case study and all of the need for us to take advantage of every opportunity that presents itself for us. However, I really do personally feel like, can we really have a citizen of Nigeria and not citizens in Nigeria? A situation whereby
That is what I fight for every day. What has been my competition? Whenever I talk, you hear it. I'll take you in national ethics, and you see what I'm talking about. The problem, I've stated it in class before, that the problem in Nigeria is that we have the most marginalized tribe in Nigeria is Nigerians.
Yes, sir.
Yoruba, Igbo, Fulani, Efik, whatever, they are not marginalized. It's Nigerians. Once you carry the flag of country before anything, you are marginalized. I'm one of those, and I know what it takes. I know how people look at me. I remember, and I'll tell you something. During my campaigns, I went somewhere. It was the Yoruba community. One of them said, "I'm going to vote for you because you are Yoruba." Do you know what I told him? My campaign team nearly, if they could slap me, they would have slapped me on the spot. What I told him, I said, if it's because I'm Yoruba, you want to vote for me, let me tell you where I really am from. So I'm part Kwara, part Fulani, I'm part Kanuri, I'm part Ishekiri. And I stated it, so I'm 25% of all that. So I don't, if it's the Yoruba part that is exciting you, please do not vote for me. I don't want that. And I know what I got for saying that. But I'd rather do it respectfully and correctly than have myself do it wrongly. And I know what it took to do that. It took quite a lot. So I'm going to give a card to this girl. I can't remember her name. A card to something. Jennifer, please give her a chance again. And if she doesn't speak this time, we'll close the class. Thank you.
All right, I've asked you
Thank
to
you, sir.
unmute, Jennifer.
No, I'm sorry. I was speaking, but I think my mic was muted from my end.
Okay, Jennifer, good evening.
Okay, good evening, sir. The question I wanted to ask was this. From the first class and this one, you've always said that we shouldn't mortgage our responsibilities to other people, that we also have the responsibility to make things work. And then today, it's not so much in relation to the class. You said that if a member is not present or like a number of members are absent, that it affects the score of the party. I just want to ask, why should that be? If like we don't know like the 100 members in our class and we just know he's active, why should we be punished for what others have to do? And then secondly, can we get like the rules or something that states the offenses and like the punishment they carry? That's what I wanted to ask. Thank you.
Wait, Jennifer, stay on the call. Please don't mute Jennifer. I like this question very much.
Okay.
Are you there? So Jennifer, first and foremost, if let's say you're Labour Party and
yes.
you want to run for president, what party are you in?
Like a real party or the party in the...
No, party you are in the college.
Labour Party.
Okay, beautiful. Let's say you're in Labour Party. And let's say now you are in realistic politics, real Labour Party in Nigeria. If you lose Lagos State, who loses Lagos State? Is it the Lagos arm of Labour Party or Labour Party as a whole? Who loses it?
I didn't get your question.
If you are in Labour Party,
yeah.
If your Labour Party in the college is actually, because we are using realistic things, if you lose Lagos, that's in Nigeria, you lost the elections in Lagos. Who loses it? Is it the Lagos arm of the Labour Party or Labour Party as a whole?
The Labour Party as a whole.
Okay, beautiful. So that means that the responsibility of pulling your members to attendance in class is your duty. Yeah, laughing. It's that simple now. We are doing realistic things here. And we have to have a method of scoring and cutting your points and one person winning. Those are some of our parameters. And you're asking who chooses, you're asking whether there's a rule or code of conduct or whatever. There are. Lisa, are you here? DD.
Yes, ED.
Was that document not the first thing placed on their party groups?
Yes, it was.
Hey, Nigerians like the Constitution. You have not read it, Jennifer.
No, I have read it.
Secondly, let's continue. I'll answer your questions. Let's continue. You spoke, I'm speaking. Third, you are saying who chooses the punishment or whatever. With the power vested in me, based on my investments in the Electoral College, the buck stops at my table as ED. So if you are, I will punish and mark as I will, based on my experience. But I'll tell you, I'm very fair. If you do a very good job, trust me, I will give you the marks. I've been known to even give parties gifts for high attendance. DD is here, should verify that, yes. But trust me, if you fail, I will draw your ears. I'm marking your assignments today now. Let me see nonsense. I've been known to give minors, and I'll tell you a story, Jennifer. And this is what I used to close the class. 2 years ago, I was invited to vet the Lagos Local Government Awards. Do you know that nobody, and I wasn't the only one, there were 6 people vetting each LCDA. Do you understand? Are you there, Jennifer? Six
Yes,
people
I am.
vetting, 6 people vetting LCDA. Everybody marked. Do you know why nobody scored over 40?
No.
Because Kule Lawal was busy writing -65, -70, because I was just supposing their FAC with what they were doing. Somebody that has FAC allocation of 200 million. The only thing she did that month was buy 6 lawnmowers. I gave her -70. So if you fail, trust me, I will mark you down. This is real life. Oh. This year, when they were doing local government awards, they say, Kunle, you are still partner on this local government awards, but Kunle will not allow you mark. you broke people's back. And that's how I didn't mark this year. So I will tell you that if you do well, I'll tell you do well. I'm quite impartial. But if you fail, trust me, I'll put your ears out. As regards dragging your people to class, the onus is on your chairman. We're trying to teach you people to work as a unit. That's what they do in political parties. Everybody works as a unit. And that's what we're trying to transcend to you. You're laughing. Why are you laughing? It's going to be interesting. Trust me, you enjoy the class. There's
Because
more
we
to the
cannot
class than even
rank the whole 80 invisible members that we cannot see because we didn't put them in the group. They came from where they came from into the group.
If you join a political party today, it seems it's a plausible argument, but if you join a political party today,
You see, I have a point.
who would you know? Who would you know?
You people see yourselves physically, so there's something to hold grounds to. But this one is
No.
online.
You see yourselves physically how? Have you been in a political party?
Yes, I'm around them all the time, but then
No. I mean,
argument has grounds.
no. Jennifer. It has grounds based on your experience in politics, not based on mine. That's the difference. I was national publicity secretary of a political party. Till today, I meet people in Kowa that I didn't even know, that were in my state, and I did not know. And I was national publicity secretary till today. It's not how you know, it's how you manage. That's what politics is. Do you know what winning one vote is? Do you know what it takes to win one vote, Jennifer? You are here to learn to do the work, not to complain. And this is not, I need to make it clear. What you're learning in the college is a democracy. It's democracy. But us handling your affairs and marking you guys, it's totally not a democracy. Okay? We've done it 17 times. If we had errors, trust me, we would have reconstructed it better. But it has succeeded 17 times. I wouldn't alter it in the 18th. I would not. Didi knows that about me. So Jennifer, it's not as easy as you think it is, but trust me, your learning here will be worth it. If you can apply what you eventually get from us, you'll do well. So everybody assumes politicians just have money and just work. Have money and go and run for office and see now. They'll chop your money, delegate, you even cross parameters. It's not money. It's a lot that comes into it. Management of people is one of the biggest things you can have in politics. So you need to learn that. And Jennifer,
Yes, sir.
I know you are not happy, but electoral college is not ice cream. We're
I'm
not
not
here to
upset
make you happy.
about the decision.
It's not a decision. It's the constitution of the college. Already law before we even met you. we made it law before we met
I'm
you.
not upset about the constitution. I'm just stating something that I noticed. So
Okay, we've noticed it. We've noted your notice.
thank you
But
very
we
much.
have to put you, no, we've noted your notice, but we have to put you on notice that things have been done. And it's not because we've always done it that way. It's because it has been successful that way. Do you understand what I just said? We've noted
Yes,
your notice, but we have to put you on notice that this has been successful, very successful with the way we've done it.
okay, thank you very
Don't
much.
worry. If you have old associates in your group, let them give you gist. They'll tell you. College is right. They'll tell you, even though they failed, they came back, and they'll tell you why they came back.
Sir,
Because
people
it
do
was
fail
worth
and
it.
come back.
Yes.
Ha!
Yes. If you don't have, if you, Auntie Jennifer, I'll tell you something. Jennifer, I'll tell you something. Jennifer, I'll tell you something. If you're not ready to fail, and you're not ready to even move the country forward, you're not ready to be a politician. You're not ready to. There are many things. Failure is part of success. It's because I didn't win an election that the electoral college exists, and that's the success. Thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think the president of the last cohort has something to say.
Yeah, please allow her talk, please.
All right. What? You two on mute, Rabiatu. You can go ahead and speak.
Hello everyone. Hello Edie. Hello Miss
Hey.
Miriam.
Rabiatu.
I'm here actually for Jennifer because I understand she is really surprised that people fail and come back. All right, Miss Jennifer, I, as the president of the last cohort, did not make it to graduation, and here I am back for this cohort, and hopefully I will make it through. So I hope you buckle up and attend all your classes, be attentive so that you can graduate. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Edie.
Thank you very much, Rabiatu. Also very presidential. And there's somebody I've asked him to unmute, and that's Jude. Jude, I've asked you to unmute. Or Lisa, can you help me unmute him?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Edie.
Jude, how far?
Okay,
I love what
Commander.
you're doing on TikTok. Oh, you're doing government uncle. Are you the one doing government uncle on TikTok?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you serious?
What about
And you
Yes,
didn't
sir,
say we
bro.
should be following it to push you forward. Though I'm not on TikTok, but Electoral College handle is on TikTok. I would be proud to follow you and champion your causes. So let me allow you talk, sir, so that Jennifer
Okay.
can hear you too.
Okay, Jennifer, I was the president too of NNPP, like the last two court 16. Yes. And then we're supposed to do something. I'm trying to remember. There's that thing now where we go out, like it's our court project where we go out and reach out to people physically. And then there was a delay in our arrangements of it. And then I saw a call on my phone. And then the call was VJ. VJ was part of the people that called that day. And it was like, Jude, people don't do this before the end of the day. I will fail you. I'll fail everybody will come back. Every leader in your party will come back. I'll fail all of you. And I was just quiet on the call. Like I was just cold on the call. And then lo and behold, me, my SecGen, both of us did not graduate. My SecGen came back for 17. Then me, I'm back now for 16. So, and I'm running government uncle from most of the things I learned from electoral college. The challenge, the the way ED talks, the way ED there's a way ED approaches governance conversation, especially paying attention to the constitution, how things ought to be. And then so that was part of the thing that scared me of starting to comment on TikTok. And then so some people even graduated and they're still in electoral college. It's not even an issue of just because they failed. So,
Thank you very much,
thank
Jude.
you
So,
for the
Jennifer,
opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Jennifer, are you hearing live conversations? That's the president of a cohort. She won the presidential election in her cohort, and she's here. Depends on what you're thinking. Tolu wants to say something, manager of cohort. No, Jennifer, you started Wahala today. Hope you can handle it. Tolu, you're unmuted. Tolu is the head of cohorts. I don't know.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. And I would like to say that you all are my colleagues. You just need to take one more step to become an associate. However, I just want to share mine since everybody's sharing. I was once a student here too, a participant here. And I wasn't just a participant. I think I went home with like 3 awards. And thankfully, I am always here learning again and again and again and again because you never actually get to learn government fully unless you master the art. ED today is already a work of art. I dare say that it's already a work of art because you dare say anything, on governance around him, it would just bust your bubble, So yeah, so you're gonna be here, Jennifer. You will have to fail, and then me, I have succeeded, but guess what? I am back here again. I didn't fail. I succeeded. I am still here, still learning everything that I have learned before, and everybody is still learning. So failure, like Edie said, failure is not the end. Failure actually makes you succeed, whichever way you want to look at it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tolu. And let me add this, Jennifer. Are you still there?
Yes.
Jennifer, everybody you've met, Lisa is third cohort electoral college. The only person that is not a student of the electoral college is myself. Everybody you interface with is our students that we brought in to build our workforce. The entire workforce of the electoral college is built on, so it's a system. It's built on our students. Let me tell you how far the electoral college has gone. And Lisa, so that they will not say it's me that is selling electoral college gist. 3 of our students have made it to BOT. They're on the board of trustees. They moved, they became country heads, they became regional heads, and there are 3 of them now sit on the board of trustees, our own students. That is the electoral college, Jennifer. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That is the college. We're not teaching you because we have big Zoom and want to talk, or I love the sound of my voice. No, my voice is nice, but that was a joke on the side. But the point is that we're building an entire system. It's one of the hardest things that we have ever tried to do. But guess what? It's working. Do we have people in government that have graduated from here? Yes. People that never were interested in politics and have now gone into politics? Yes. Do I advise associates? We have about 14,000. Do you know how many associates I advise personally that are running for office or would run for office in 2027? I look over their manifestos. I do everything. It's hard work. It's not as easy as you think. But we are proud doing it because somebody must do the job. So Jennifer, thanks for your closing statements. Thanks for everything you brought. And yes, people fail. But like I told you, failure is part of the process. If I haven't failed, I won't be here teaching you guys. There will not be the gift that Electoral College has been able to give so many on radio, on TV, everywhere. We've gifted, we've done debates, we've done the first Zoom debate in Africa at senatorial level. We've done multiple things. We don't only teach, we do a lot of things. We won't be here if I didn't fail. So thank you very much, Jennifer.
Thank you,
With
sir.
the power vested in me as the ED of the college, I hereby close this class after people have punished me. I've drank enough water. I'm tired. Have a lovely evening. Those that are going to club should go and dress up. Me, I have another class to teach at 8. So I'll see you guys. Bye.
Hold on, Edie.
Thank you very much, Edie. Well done. I believe everybody agrees this has been a very insightful class, and thank you very much. In case of next class, everybody should try to go through the document and prepare their questions before class and keep it short. So I'll unmute everybody so they can say thank you to Edie, and then we can put an end to the class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Edie.
Thank you, Edie.
Thank you.